All right. So, hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to every one of you who have joined for this session or YouTube live for our week one of the penetration testing internship hosted by Hacktify Cybersecurity. My name is Dr. Rohit, and I'm very excited to be the host for this week's session today for all of you. And I hope all of you are doing great, excellent, and are safe. Let's start the session here. So, participants, as I have already discussed and expressed in the previous live, the plan and the schedule for the week 1, 2, 3, and 4, we are going to follow exactly the same. Today, we are going to commence with week 1. The technical topics that we are going to learn today are two web security vulnerabilities. The first one that we are going to understand and cover is Open Redirect. The second web security vulnerability that we are going to cover is HTML injection. Let's start understanding both of them one by one with the help of notes as well as practicals. After the technical session has been completed, if participants have any questions, you can feel free to post them on the chat on YouTube Live, as well as you can post your questions on the Discord group as well. My team coordinators, internship coordinators are there and would support you to resolve all your questions and queries that you might have. Without further ado, let's start the given session. So I'm going to share my screen now for everyone's of your reference so you can see my screen. So currently on my screen, you can see labs.hacktify.in, which is the portal that is going to be utilized by participants to log in and to access the labs over here. The credentials to log in and all other general instructions and information is going to be provided by your respective internship coordinators. You can feel free to get in touch with them. Also, please carefully read all the instructions that have been given out by the internship coordinators to successfully make sure that you don't miss any important updates and are on track for the week one of the internship. Let's start discussing first about HTML injection. So what is HTML injection in web security, or how HTML injection is being found when you do penetration testing? So before we understand about HTML injection, let's have a brief overview and understanding about what HTML itself is. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. It is basically a standard markup language which is used for web pages. You might have been written HTML pages when you might have been in school or your college, wherein you have created your first HTML page. Collection of HTML pages are known as web pages or website. Today, we are going to understand about how any attacker, if can inject or input his arbitrary supplied HTML tags or HTML input, and if the web application or the website interprets and executes the HTML code, then it can be really dangerous. Website should not execute or interpret the injected HTML code by any given user. If any given user is able to do that, then it can be really dangerous. This is known as HTML injection. In a nutshell, to summarize once again, if an attacker is able to send his HTML tag to a website or a web application, and if the web application reads the HTML tags, interprets it, and executes it, then this is HTML injection web security vulnerability. Now, what can be achieved with HTML injection? How dangerous it can be? What is the impact of this? We are going to understand that in a moment. Now, let's see over here. Let's understand with an example of a simple HTML page, which can be seen over here. So we can see doc type HTML, which determines the document type is HTML. Then we have HTML start tag, close tag, head, title of the page, page title. Then we have head closed, body start. We have heading 1, which is my first heading. We can write a paragraph tag using P, body close, HTML close. Okay, so these are basically each tags that we have just understood. Now, we have also understood about brief in about HTML injection attack. Now we will see a demonstration of it. For participants' reference, The demonstration that we are going to see is on an intentionally vulnerable website for practice. You can also practice on the given website. Once we complete the practice in the session today, all of you are expected to reproduce the issue on the lab platform, which is this. So you can log in here, go to HTML injection that you might be able to see on your screen or your dashboard, and practice the same vulnerability over there. You're also expected to create a report based on your activities that you do, which shows you successfully able to complete the given attack. Okay. Also, the practical that we are going to do right now is also available in a textual note form. So these notes will also be provided to participants for their reference. Now let's see this with the help of an example. We'll head over to testphp.vulnerweb.com. So this is the website. Let's go to that website. Once we go to the website, I can see an input tag over here. I'll just go there and search for ROHIT Rohit, or let's say Hacktify. When I search for Hacktify, you can see it appears on the screen over here, which means the input that I've entered has went to the server and has been reflected back on the client on my screen, as can be seen over here. The exact same thing that we saw over here. Now we will go ahead and enter Hacktify in H1 tags, which is the heading 1 tags, and let's see what happens. So I'm going to just remove this Batman. I'm going to say Hacktify. Now look carefully. This is the first reflection that we have got on the page without the heading tag. Now I'm adding the heading start and heading close and hit go. And you can see it got executed. We're able to see that the Hacktify has now become into a larger font. This symbolizes that the keyword Hacktify, which was wrapped in the HTML tag H1, is successfully interpreted as well as executed. This is a classic example and confirmation that the target is vulnerable to HTML injection, as it not only interprets but executes the user supplied input, which is the HTML tag. Now, we can also exploit HTML tags using various different ways that can be really, really harmful for the application. We'll see one demonstration as well in a moment. So let me go ahead and create an HTML payload. So I'm going to say, let's say ahref equals to http://evil.com. And then I'm going to say click me, and let's close the A tag. Let's go ahead and run this over here. Now, if you see, I have provided an href that points to evil.com, which is attacker control domain name. And we have printed a text, which is click me, as can be seen over here. Now, if a user would come on the given website and let's say unintentionally would click on click me, then you can see he gets redirected to the attacker control domain over here, which is evil.com. Okay, now similarly, there can be more dangerous things that can be done. We can create a button as well. So we can also create a button similarly, which can create a button for a user. We can create a login page. We can also deface the current page, wherein we can load image source, and deface the current web page, saying that the current web page is down. Please go to the new link, which is this, which can turn out to be really, really dangerous as well. Now, let's talk about how this can be exploited into a web application and can increase the severity of the issue. So usually HTML injection falls under the CVSS score of 0.1 to 3.9, which is a P4 bug, which is a low priority bug. That means it's a very simple vulnerability to be identified in a given application, but it can be converted into a P3 bug, which is priority 3 or medium bug, if you are able to exploit the given target and do an account takeover. For example, how could you do an account takeover? Let's understand that. And also understand that if a target application is vulnerable to HTML injection, then this is an indicator that the developer is not sanitizing the user supplied input, not taking any action on the tags or anything like that that has been given in the website or the web application, which can also lead to another vulnerability, which is XSS, cross-site scripting, in which now the attacker can, instead of adding HTML tags in the application, can add JavaScript, vulnerable, malicious JavaScript code, which can perform much more dangerous actions on the given application. So if you're able to identify an HTML injection vulnerability onto a target, you can potentially increase the severity more by identifying a XSS vulnerability as well, which is cross-site scripting. Okay, let me give you one example of how you can escalate HTML injection web security vulnerability. Okay, let's take an example over here. Now, let's assume if the target is vulnerable on sign up. So let me go to this website and let me just log in over here. Okay, let's assume that this is a sign up page of the given website, and in the name field, I can enter tags. Okay, so I'm going to add this and I'm going to say verify, click to verify here. Okay, so this is an example where I will add this name, credit card, name, last name, other details. And in email, I will use an email address of the victim. So I'll say victim@gmail.com and sign up on the website. Now, you know what will happen when I sign up on the given website? The sign up, after signing up, the website is going to send an automated email saying that, hello, and then the name, and in the name field, we have added this. It is going to say, hello, please click here to verify, welcome. So once the user receives this, if he clicks onto that, he would be redirected to an attacker control domain where he might end up giving his credentials. Or if the given target web page adds verification token on the current page, then it can also be stolen by making the user trick by clicking on the email link that redirects to the attacker. Or else you can also do a lot of changes on the current web page, tricking the user thinking of clicking any given part of the web page or the email and stealing information from the given user, or redirecting the given user to an attacker control domain. So these are some of the test cases that you can always keep in mind, usually when we are identifying a target application to be vulnerable to HTML injection. So we are able to see the same thing over here, and we have also successfully seen that how can be exploited. So I will run the tag once again here, and you can see click here, click to verify here. Once I click that, I'll be redirected to the attacker control domain, which is evil.com successfully. So I hope this is clear with participants. Now we'll proceed ahead to open redirect vulnerability. Redirect. So as the name suggests, open redirect, this is a security issue in web applications where the attacker makes the victim redirect to an attacker control domain by using a web applications functionality or a parameter. Let's assume that I have an account on https://bank.com/ on bank.com, and I'm going to log in. So I'm on the login page, and then I have next equals to parameter, which contains dashboard.html. Okay. So I'm currently onto a website or a web page which has this URL. And on the web page, I have username field and password field that I have to enter my credentials. If I enter the credentials and the credentials are successful or correct, I'm going to redirect to next dashboard.html. So this next parameter contains the reference where the user should redirect after the correct authentication has been completed successfully. That is dashboard.html. Now, if I change this to http://evil.com and the web application does not validate successfully that it needs to be redirected to that domain or no, then it is vulnerable to open redirect vulnerability. This is one such example that I have given you of next. There can be more such parameters that can likely to be vulnerable to open redirect vulnerability. Usually, what is a redirect? Redirect is basically moving from one web page to either the same web page or the same website's another web page or to an external web page. Status codes. So for redirect, usually the status codes that are being used is 3xx. So you can see over here in the status code list, 300 status codes are primarily used for redirects. 301, 302 are used for move permanently or moved redirect. Move permanently or found. Temporary redirect and permanent redirect can also be seen over here, which are the status codes that are 307 and 308. These are some of the status codes that you can remember that can be helpful for you. Now, we have understood in brief about open redirect vulnerability. Let's understand that with an example once again on the same website. So let's head over there once again until this is opening. Okay, please mention that it runs on HTTP, not HTTPS. Now, we are on this website and let's assume we were able to identify an endpoint, which is this. The endpoint is testphp.volanweb.com redirect.php r equals to. And we can see in the r parameter, which stands for redirect over here, if I supply any input, the website makes a redirect to the attacker control domain without the confirmation of the given user. So I'll just go here and say http://evil.com or maybe actify.in. So let's copy this URL and see if this works. So I'm going to go here, paste it. See, the main domain name is testphp.volanweb.com, but we are trying to make and to see if the website or the web application redirects to hacktify.in. Let's hit enter. Please observe carefully. Let's wait. Let's try this once more. HTTPS. Let's try this once more. And let's try to redirect this to google.com as well. Google.com. Oh, it did not work because we had HTTPS added over here. So sorry. Let's try this once more. The target runs on HTTP, not HTTPS. Okay. Now we have sent this request. Let's wait. Let's send one more request. Yeah. And you can see it was successful. We got redirected to hacktify.in. Let's try this once more. Copy the URL. Go and paste it. You can see we are currently on testphp.volanweb.com, but in the redirection parameter R, we have supplied hacktify.in. Let's hit enter and wait. And you can see we got successfully redirected to hacktify.in. The website did not give any confirmation to the user that you have been redirected or any prompt like you have been moving away from the targeted domain, etc. This can create a problem. How? Just imagine if the current URL request contains any sensitive information like token equals to ABCD, and if it contains session cookie like cookie, or if it contains name equals to Rohit, or if it contains credit card number equals to 12345, then this information is also going to send to hacktify.in. And the attacker's domain, which is hacktify.in, would be able to steal that information from there very, very easily. Okay, so it is always important to be sure that this kind of redirects are usually eliminated from the targeted website. And if there is any kind of redirect that is going to happen, it should be confirmed with the user, because the user can steal the cookies that are attached with the GET request or the URL, because it will be transferred to the attacker's server or the logs. Secondly, the attacker can also perform identity theft-based attacks by making the user redirect to the attacker control domain. So it is important to make sure that if a website makes a redirect, it should first give a prompt to the user. It should not allow a redirect without the user's confirmation to mitigate this given issue. So we have understood this. One of the parameter that we have seen is R. There can be more parameter like redirect equals to, URL equals to, redirect equals to, etc. that can be vulnerable. Now, let's head over to GF redirect. GF redirect contains the most vulnerable potential parameters that you should always see when you test a given website. So once we go there, we are going to go to redirect.json file. You can please make a note of the GitHub URL, which is GF patterns is the project repository, and go to redirect.json. Once you go there, you can see the most likely to be vulnerable parameters, which are usually vulnerable to open redirect based attacks. L image URL, open, callback, checkout, data, destination, directory, domain feed, file, forward, go to, host, HTML, next that we saw, redirect, redirect to, redirect URI, return to, etc. So whenever you're testing any given website or a web application, always try to see if the URL contains a parameters which is likely to be this. If it is that the case, always check by giving a value to the parameter that is attacker control domain like attacker.com, evil.com, or google.com, and see if the vulnerable website makes a redirect to the attacker control domain. If that is the case, then it is a vulnerable target and it is a successful open redirect vulnerability. There are a few tips and tricks that I've provided here where you can crawl all of the URLs using tools like Wayback URLs or Gao, identify the targeted URLs and their parameters, and then you can filter which of them contains those parameters which are likely to be vulnerable and test them if they are really vulnerable. This given vulnerability is categorized as medium severity vulnerability in web security or penetration testing when you do for your organization or you do bug bounty. We have already discussed about the impact. Now, how do we prevent this given vulnerability? There are two very important things. First is whitelisting. Whitelisting means a website like test.php should whitelist the given domains, or in very simple terms, should only allow trusted domains where the redirect can be successful. For example, if test.php wants to make a redirect to test.php, then only it should be allowed. No redirect to evil.com should be allowed. Or a list of trusted domains can be added on the server side that the redirect should only be possible. This is the first and the best mitigation. Second is give a confirmation to a user that you are being redirected to an external domain which we do not control. Please exercise caution when going to the new redirected website. So the user basically would get an confirmation over here that, okay, let me just verify where I'm getting redirected, etc. That is the best mitigation for open redirect vulnerabilities. Let's also discuss about prevention of HTML injection or mitigation of HTML injection based issues. The website developer should make sure that the HTML tags that the web application is going to take from a user should always be sanitized or should be converted to HTML encoding. Okay, so any tags that has been supplied should not be interpreted directly and executed. It should be suppressed or it can be sanitized so that the attacker's supplied input is not being executed directly by the given application. Okay. Yes, so this was the nutshell of both HTML injection and open redirect based vulnerabilities. These notes that I am presenting in front of you will be shared to all participants for their reference once again. The video is going to be live on YouTube where you can take the help of the video, rewatch it once more, and practice it on the same test.php website. Once you complete your practice, next you can go to your lab portal and practice the same type of vulnerability on the labs that has been prepared for you. Once you are successful in practicing this on the labs, then you can go ahead and appear for your assessments that will be provided to you, as well as write a professional report. Please make sure when you are doing practice for practical on the lab platform, which is this, always make sure that you take screenshots, because those screenshots are going to be very, very helpful for you when you're going to add or create a report. Okay, so that is something which is very, very important for you to make sure. Screenshots while you practice so that you can add it to the report at the end. Okay, so that's it from my side. I'll not take much of your time, guys. And I hope the week 1 is going to be very exciting for all participants. I'm very, very happy and excited to see a very good coordination, a very good sense of excitement with all participants. And I definitely wish all of you all the best for this. Participants, just one request from my side, as we have just commenced week 1, you might get you might take some time to get comfortable with the internship procedures, or maybe writing assignments or quizzes, submission of them, etc. So don't worry about that. I am hoping that week 2 is much smoother for all participants, as you would now be aware about all the procedures, processes, and protocols that we usually follow. So that is absolutely fine. Please be relaxed. And if you have any questions, always feel free to get in touch with the coordinators. They will be very happy to help you. With this, I would like to wrap up the session over here without taking further of your time. And I wish all the best to all the participants for this current week and for your upcoming weeks. All the best, everyone. Take care. Thank you so much and stay safe. Thank you.